Live.
Due to some violent content, parental discretion is advised.
Do I like it that way? Do I like it that way? Do I like it that way? We'll see what happens.
So I don't know what this thing is. I think it's a strip show, dance show.
Work there, dude.
Welcome to
DeaconLive.
DeaconLive.
Welcome back, guys. On today's show, can you solve the cat in the hat riddle? And also, are you someone or know someone that's a glass child? Also, what new thing is giving COVID-19 a run for their money? Also, why this lady was so upset about the writing on her cake and what did it say? All this and much, much more will be discussed here on DeaconLive. How are you? How are things? How are things going? I know, before we even get started, I know, I took another week off. Well, shit, I've got a lot of shit going on. I apologize. I know, normally you guys are every Wednesday, the podcast comes out, you guys are like right on top of it. I see all the downloads and everything, and then, you know, as people catch up and stuff, I see more downloads throughout the week. And I'm sorry. I explained to you that I was doing like cabinets. I was doing all this work around the house, trying to get caught up of everything that's going on here on the property, trying to get the house flipped back over. And it has now been coming up on 1 year that my dad's been living here in the house, and I missed all the stuff that I didn't do this time of year, and I'm trying to get caught up on it. So please forgive me. I'm sorry. I really am. And to show you how sorry I am, I'm going to give you the best goddamn show today ever. This is going to be the best show ever, or it could be fall on flat bricks or something. I don't know, but here we go. And we've had a cold snap here, so I can't finish. I'm in the middle of like painting cabinets. I'm in the middle of doing painting and all that stuff, and it's very, very very fragile temperature where I'm painting the cabinets and yada, yada, yada. And so I just took another week off to try to catch up on some stuff. So I'm sorry. We're back in full-fledged form, so don't worry. From here on out, Scout's honor, three fingers up? And if you're watching us here, don't forget, for every podcast we have a matching video. You can see me wave at the camera. Hi, guys. And my hair, I trimmed my beard up a little bit, but my hair this is going on, I think, 3 months now without a haircut. And I used to have a mohawk, and now I just look like some homeless guy with long hair on top of my head and scraggly on the side. Now, as you know, my wife works from home. And she puts in these long days, and, you know, she works from 9 o'clock in the morning to sometimes 9, 10 o'clock at night. And then I'm usually wrapping everything up around 7:30, 8 o'clock, eat my dinner. I'll go lay in bed and watch some TV, watch some a movie or something until she comes to bed. And here's the dilemma I've been running into the last couple months or so. When she comes to bed, I'm already pooped. I'm tired. I want to go to sleep, and I try to stay up and wait for her to come into bed. And she feels, and I understand that, you know, as soon as she comes into bed, I'm like, okay, you're in bed. I'm going to roll over and go to sleep. You know, I know that you made it home, or you made it, you know, you're done working for the night. And she's like, you know, I take offense to that, because it's like when I come into the room, you don't want to talk to me, and you just roll over and go to sleep. So I'm not doing that. I can see her side of it. I thought I was doing a good thing by waiting for her to come in and make sure that she was okay and she ate dinner and everything. And then I roll over and call it a night. Meanwhile, she's up for another hour and a half trying to wind down from work. So I said, you know what? I'm going to change this. I'm going to change it to help her out because I love her. I do. I love her very much. But so I'm like, all right, so what can I do to keep myself occupied so I'm not falling asleep? I'm not, you know, drifting off, because I can only watch, as you guys know, if you've been listening to the podcast, this podcast has been on for almost 8 years now. I'd love to watch cartoons. The Family Guy, before Family Guy was Family Guy. Now I don't know where it's going. South Park, when South Park was South Park, and when they switched to, I think it was the CGI or the animation, and they try to make it look like the cut paper they were doing, they kind of lost me there right around season 19, a little bit after the movie came out, I guess. And then, of course, I love Bob's Burgers, but she likes Bob's Burgers, so I can't watch that. And all the other different cartoons and stuff. American Dad's my favorite. I love it because he's just this right-wing conservative, and it just kind of points fingers at me because I'm somewhat conservative, but I do understand the other side as well. So I'm not going to argue with you. These are my beliefs. These are your beliefs. We'll stay on our side of the fence. My grass is green over here. Your grass is green over there. Everyone's fine, right? We get along. When you start trimming branches and throwing in my yard, that's when we have a problem. So I said to myself, I need to be a little bit more productive. And when's the best time to be productive is right before you go to bed, right? Right before you close your eyes and try to go to sleep. So here's my New Year's resolution. I know it's 3 months late, but here's my New Year's resolution. Might as well get one in now, right? I didn't do one at the beginning of the year. Might as well throw it in now. I told myself, I know I'm dealing with the change in weather and my allergies, and I mowed the lawn yesterday. I know. First world problems, right? I told myself that I was going to watch some kind of educational movie or documentary, I guess is where I'm going with this. I want to watch a documentary, and I'm scrolling through all the documentaries, and I've been bitten so many times bad from documentaries that just completely suck. I mean, they are just like NPR radio, and the teacher taught the child how to pick up a pencil and write his name for the first time. Little Andy has never seen his handwriting before until this day. The cochlear implants and I'm like going, I'm trying to stay awake, and these things are making me go to sleep. And there's all these different things. We watched what got me started on this ball rolling is, we watched the Taylor Swift documentary about her, and I'm like, all right, cool. I don't know a whole lot about Taylor Swift. She seems kind of cool, kind of hip. When I see her in the commercials, she can like poke fun of herself, which is great. Self-deprecation is always good. It shows that you don't take yourself too seriously, and a lot of people out there take themselves too seriously. So we watched that, and I said, well, babe, I've watched this Pink one before, the Pink music artist. So we watched that one, and I'm like going, all right, so I'm on a roll here. What am I going to watch tonight? And I started watching the Nolan Ryan story, and I was like going, this is great. It's an hour and a half long. I watched about 45 minutes. By that time, both of us are ready to zonk out. And so this is my new thing that I'm going to do is try to watch some kind of documentary and literally force feed, whether it's something that interests me or it doesn't interest me at all. I just want to sit there and watch these documentaries and stuff. But you have to be careful, because sometimes they get a little preachy. They get a little, and what's wrong with society? And, they talk about how taxes are created and why the government can do this. I don't want to watch anything that's going to make me upset. It's going to make me mad. I want to watch something about something or someone that's interesting, or you bring something to the table. Anytime you go to a dinner date or a family get together or something like that, you always want to bring some kind of conversation to the table. Now, do we do family dinner night or anything here at the house? No. But, if people out there that have normal lives, that have, a sit-down dinner around the table, or you go out to dinner with your friends, instead of sitting there gossiping and stuff, why don't you bring a little table talk in there and say, hey, did you know that, for example, Nolan Ryan, his fastest ball pitch was, close to 110 miles an hour. Well, shoot, I didn't know that. Yeah, it was interesting. I'm not a big baseball fan. I know the basics of baseball, but I understand the achievement that is. And so I might watch a couple sports ones. I might watch a couple history about how things are being made and all that. So that's my goal. Is it an achievable goal? Yeah, I think it is an achievable goal. It's simple. I can do it at the end of the day when everything's done. I don't have to worry about I should be doing something else. And that's the thing that my wife has a problem with. She's like, you never sit down. You never take a break. You never take time for yourself. Literally, here's a prime example. Literally, as I'm eating breakfast, I'll make my breakfast and I'll sit down and I'll take 2 bites of something. And, we have a huge kitchen. It's huge. It's a beautiful kitchen. It's the best kitchen in the world. But we have this huge island in the center and a cooktop in the center and a bar on one side. And I mean, it's probably 12, 14 feet long, granite countertops. Anyway, I know, I'm bragging, a little baller. But no, the kitchen, there's always something in the kitchen to be done. So I'll take a couple bites of food and then stand up and I'll go over there and wipe down the counter and wipe off the coffee maker from us having coffee that morning. And I'll sit back down, have a couple more bites, get back up, put some dishes away or move some dishes around, and I'll sit back down. Is that ADHD? Is that what I have? Is that what's going on? God almighty, I need to smoke some weed or something to chill me out. So we'll figure out something in the long run. All right, guys. Well, I'm glad that you're back. I'm glad you gave me another chance. I'm sorry. I apologize. But from here on out, I've got to stick to this regimen. I've been doing it for so long. I took a couple weeks off, and I was like, going, God, this feels nice. It feels good. And on the flip side of that, I've also, I don't just do this podcast. There's two other podcasts that I do as well. I do Equine Dynamics with Mike Stein. It's all about horses and the care of horses. We do that every Monday. And then I also do another podcast. It's a secret podcast. Because my family listens to this show, I'm not going to tell you what it is. You can email me if you want to know the podcast, and I'll send you a link. That's you can email me at deacon@profitradio.com, and I'll send you that link. Or if you do a little research and digging, you can probably find it as well. But that's my little... It's my soapbox. It's my soapbox with a good friend of mine. And we kind of go over a bunch of stuff. Anyways, I digress. We got a really big show for you, and I'm glad that you guys are back. And I'm glad to be back here in the big chair here. So stick around. We got a lot to talk about, lots to get into. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Let's try that again. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us on all your social networks, and the way you do that is go over to Prophet Radio, Prophet Radio. Click on social contacts, and while you're there, you can get yourself some free swag, some stickers, some magnets. We have some buttons and stuff. I got a whole bunch of brand new stickers here in the studio with the new logo on it, as you guys know, and you can see that we've changed the logo, kind of updated the logo a little bit, give it a little bit more depth to it, and hopefully you guys are liking that and enjoying that logo as well. Here we go. I'll start coughing and puking all over the place. And don't forget, for every podcast we have a matching video. You can see me here in the studio, and any of the articles that have videos, contents, and stuff like that, you can see that in real time as we're talking about it here on the air. Just go over to YouTube, search Deacon Live Podcasts, and make sure you like and subscribe to us over there. We would much appreciate it. If you want to comment on some of the videos, by all means, I will comment back as well. Now, for all you chocolate lovers out there that can't eat dairy, how do you know that you're a chocolate lover? I mean, do you like the chocolate that's out there that's non-dairy based? I guess, how do you know if you're a chocolate lover if you can't have dairy? I guess is the question that I'm having, because most chocolate does involve some kind of milk or some kind of dairy in it. Now, Reese's has coming out with a new plant-based peanut butter cup. Hershey's plant-based extra creamy and almond with sea salt. The iconic candy confectioner says it has a new addition made with oats instead of milk. So here we go. Oat milk. It's oat juice, right? Isn't it what people complain about? It's not milk. It doesn't have teats on it. But here's the thing. I know it says plant-based. Outside of the milk, isn't the whole entire chocolate Reese's thing plant-based anyways? I mean, you've got peanuts, you got peanut butter. Pretty sure those come from the ground. Chocolate comes from, what is it, the cocoa bean, the cacao bean, and then sugar. Sugar comes from sugar cane, flour. What else is in, Reese's peanut butter cup? What else is in there? Some kind of monosodium glue or gum or something like that. I'm sure that came from some tree somewhere. I don't think that's man-made. But I guess they're coming out with a new plant-based Reese's peanut butter cup with oat milk, or using oat milks or oats instead of the chocolate or instead of the dairy that you would get from a cow. That's what I'm saying. I mean, would it change the flavor and the texture? It wouldn't be kind of chunky? I don't know. If you've had plant-based chocolate, let me know. Go over to Prophet Radio, Prophet Radio. We appreciate them. They play a great ton of music over there, live streaming all the time. So make sure you check them out as well. That's Prophet Radio. Huge sponsors of the Deacon Live podcast. And they're the ones that get us on all the different platforms that are out there. While you're over at Prophet Radio, there's a big blue bar. It says Be Heard. Click on that. Sends a voice message right to our inbox, and we'll play your voice. That's right. You can be podcast famous right here on the air with us, and tell us if you've heard or had plant-based and what's your experience with it. That's Prophet Radio and Be Heard at the very bottom of the page. Now, as if we ain't got enough shit to be worried about, there's a new deadly fungal infection that's spreading through hospitals, and here's what we know so far. The deadly fungal is, spreading at an alarming rate inside health facilities and long-term care hospitals across the United States. Kind of like, when we had that whole MRSA scare. Well, this is even worse than that. Here's what we know about the highly drug-resistant fungus, the strain of this kind of yeast called Candida Aurius, Auris, or C. aureus for short. If you say that fast enough, it sounds disgusting. It presents a serious global threat. While people are not likely to contract the infection... hold on. I'll gather my thoughts here. While people are likely to contract the infection, while people are not likely to contract the infection, those with lower immune system and people living in nursing home are more likely to fall sick and be unable to fight this infection. The outcome can be fatal. So what is Candida? No, it's Canada. No, it's Candida. Candida. Candida Aurius. Canada, I want to say Canada, but I can't say it. Candida is a family of yeast that can be found on the skin and inside the body. Usually the fungus lives in areas such as the mouth, throat, gut, and vagina without causing health problems. Great. Common types of this includes Candida albicans, which causes the yeast infection thrust. Sometimes, however, certain types of Candida can cause infections in older people, those that are battling health issues. C. auris was first discovered in the ear canal of a patient in Tokyo. Great! Those people over there in 2009. It enters the body during medical treatment, including operations when urinary catheters, tubes, or drips are inserted. It can also cause infection of surgical wounds. Great. I'm not going to the hospital anytime soon. If they can't get this shit right now. My dad goes to the hospital all the time. 76 years old, goes to the hospital, and just about every other week, he just does. No, I say every other week. Every other visit that he goes, he comes back and he's sick. He's like, don't go there. There's sick people there. While a number of cases recorded by the CDC is only in the thousands, only for now, it's considered a serious global public health threat because of the drug resistant and the potential to spread among most medical vulnerabilities. It is also difficult to identify using standard laboratory methods. It has also caused breakouts in healthcare environments across the country. So what are the symptoms? Fevers, chills that don't improve after antibiotic treatments, and suspected bacterial infections are most common symptoms of the invasive candidiasis, which is more than one. The infection can aggravate various parts of the body, including the ears, heart, kidneys, eyes, and your brain. Well, you might as well just put me down. So how is the fungus transmitted? Well, the fungus goes easily from person to person, especially within hospital environments among the medical vulnerability. Not for nothing, I would rather sit at home and have the doctor come here and work on me in my own bed, like do surgery on my own bed, because I know that I'm somewhat sterile here. I've got all my germs and all my bacteria and my gut health and everything's good here. You bring me into a whole brand new environment where my body hasn't had these other different bugs and variances of, and I contract all that. That's what it is. That's what happens. We need to bring back the at-home doctor. Let's do that. How about that? So it also can be spread through contact of infected surfaces and lingers on objects, including hospital equipment such as bed rails, chairs, windowsills, and so on and so forth. As if we don't have enough shit to worry about now, they're bringing out this whole new bug or something infection that's going to get you. it's the boogeyman. This is this week's boogeyman. And then something else will happen in the government and they'll make you look the other way. They'll rattle the keys over this way. So you have to go look that way. All right, guys, when we come back, have you heard about the old Cat in the Hat? Yes, the Dr. Seuss book. Well, I guess there's a new riddle that's out there, and 64% of the people cannot figure it out. And I'll do my very best to try to help us through it. Stick around. You listen to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. You want something for free? Of course you do. We'll give you something for free, but you got to do me a favor. You got to go over to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio. Click on the free swag section. Little drop-down menu. You can pick out what you want there. You might even see the new podcast that I've been talking about over there as well. Make sure you fill that out, and we'll send you out those magnets and stickers and a whole bunch of free stuff just for joining us. That's all you got to do, just to say thank you. Thank you for bearing with us through this hard and troubled time of me being lazy for a week or two. But just to say thank you for coming back. Go over there and grab some free swag. And believe me, I'm not going to do anything. It's not an email grab. I just need to know where to send it. And if I have any problems or a return address on there, make sure I can contact you, and I'll just be quick. Hey, is this the right address? Because the stuff came back, that type of stuff. And while you're over there, make sure you like and subscribe over at YouTube. For every podcast we do, we have a matching video as well. Hi, everybody. And you can see some of these videos that we're talking about here on the program. So right now, hold on. So with people trying to get back into the workforce, and there's so many states now that have they pass legislation for having either medical marijuana or recreational marijuana. So drug tests kind of is going by the wayside, or they're testing for something else rather than marijuana. So if you take a drug test now and you're trying to get a job, I mean, a lot of us are working from home anyways, but if you have to work like around heavy machinery or heavy equipment, I'm sure that would be a concept that they want to, make sure you're not, doing crystal meth or anything at any given time while operating the machinery. But marijuana, for the most part, is legal in some places, medical or for fun, recreational. And then there's also, if you have to take medication. I take meloxicam for my back. You guys know the trials and tribulations I've had with my back thing. And there's another pain pill that my doctor gave me, my back doctor gave me, it's good. I'll take it. I forget what it's called. Tizzan, something like that. But I'll take it. And I'll sit there and all of a sudden, like half hour, and I take it late at night, like right before I go to bed. And my body, within a half hour to 45 minutes, I cannot keep my eyes open. I'm like, God, I'm such a pussy. This is one little pill about the size of a kernel of corn knocks me out. But so fewer and fewer employees are asking potential new hires to take drug tests. Many businesses utilize them as part of an onboarding process. This trend has been going on for many years on large scale. Social changes has contributed to the drug testing becoming less and less prominent. Recreational marijuana use, like I was telling you earlier, has cropped up as varied across the state. Coupled with a tight labor market in 2022 means that companies are not being as selective as previously ordered to fill positions. They're like, we'll take anyone, just get in here, which means they have to start ditching the drug test in order to secure themselves a larger pool of applicants. Great. I want crackhead Larry getting stuff off the top shelf for me. And for employers that still do drug testing on their candidates, there are certain protocols that they must abide with when deciding whether or not to hire someone based on their test results. For instance, a team cannot discriminate against anyone because of medical use. Again, I have prescription drugs. They might show up in my in a drug test if I take it, but I have a prescription for it. And as long as that prescription is active, you are good to go. Now, this woman right here says, Mary McKay Bowen tweeted that a friend of hers, quote unquote, friend of hers, was applying for a part-time job at a school district. She had to take a drug test prior to the application of the position. Understandable, but says after reviewing her results, that a pregnancy test was included in the list of evaluations she was subjected to. Now, for those you don't know, you cannot discriminate, and that's one thing you cannot ask in a job interview. Are you pregnant, or do you plan on getting pregnant in the next year or so? Now, there's ways to get around that. You can ask, are you going to start a family? Are you going to do something? I might be wrong with that. My wife's all about the HR. She has to deal with this stuff all the time. But there are ways to get around asking a woman if she is or will be pregnant. For example, this is real shady. If a woman sits down and the interviewer, looks at her and she's a young woman, she's of the age of, she's probably, he finds out that she's a newlywed. And in my mind, if I was the interviewer, I'd be like, okay, so she's going to start a family. And you would say, well, why would you worry about a woman being pregnant? Because there's a couple things that happen. She has every right to take medical leave off. And sometimes that's 2 to 3 months, depending on what state you are in, if you have a child. So am I going to hire this person and within 9 months' time, she's going to be gone for 4 months? These are the things, believe it or not, interviewers, people looking to fill positions, will look at women. It's sad that they do that, but they will look at women and say, if you're going to have a child, I'd rather hire a guy or an older woman that's not, she already has an established family, or a gentleman. And I think in some states, they change that too. The man, the dad, the male can take time off as well. But I've seen interviewers, if a woman sits down, can I get you a cup of coffee? And if the woman goes, no, I'm fine, you're kind of going, well, is she saying no because she can't have caffeine because she might be pregnant, or she just doesn't want coffee? It's the little tricks that are out there. But according to the U.S. Equal Opportunity Commission, the Pregnancy Discrimination Act amended Title 7 of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. You guys writing this down? Because I'm going to be asking questions later. Discrimination based on pregnancy, childbirth, or related medical conditions constitutes unlawful sex discrimination under Title 7, which covers employers with 15 or more employees, including state and government agencies. In short, that means an employer cannot say they won't be given the job because you're pregnant, even if it comes to hiring someone. An employer cannot refuse to hire a pregnant woman based on her pregnancy because of pregnancy-related conditions and because of prejudice of co-workers, clients, and customers as well. Claire, who wrote this tweet, said, Twitter universe, my friend did a drug test as a part-time at a local district. When she got the results, found out that her district also did a pregnancy test on her. Besides ethical issues, it seems like a legal red flag that could be given. Was also told that flag was given. She wasn't told that this would be done. She also added that while a part-time job at a local school has been staffed through the county sheriff's department. So she said she looked through the drug test agreement with a friend and couldn't find any consent pertaining to a pregnancy test, and added that her friend's husband took the same drug test as well, and the pregnancy test wasn't listed on his. So there you go. They're giving a male and a female different drug tests. So does she have a case? Does she have a case? Yes. She might have some kind of civil lawsuit. As far as them breaking any rules, they probably do. But going through the sheriff's office, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why pregnancy would matter anyways. God damn it. Here I go again. So anyways, they're still looking into the story of the school and finding out what they did wrong. Or going to tell them what they did wrong. All right, guys, stick around. A little bit more to get. I say a little bit more. All right, guys, stick around. When we come back, I'll get into that cat in the hat mystery. What is the right answer? And I'm going to mess it all up. I just know I am. Hopefully you guys can guide me through it. Stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. We'd like to hear from you, and the way you can be part of the show, you can be podcast famous. Go over to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio. Click on Be Heard. It's a little blue bar floating around on the page there somewhere. It's got a little microphone attached to it. Open it up, speak right into it, speak clear. You can be anonymous if you'd like. Leave us a message, comes right to our voicemail box, and then we'll play it on the very next podcast. And you can be right on the air alongside of me as well. And while you're over at Prophet Radio, fill out that little form there to get yourself some free stuff. We'll send out to your house. Believe me, it's not an email grab. I just want to say thank you for hanging out with us and making the Deacon Live show what it is today. Hopefully that light will go off. Now, I hate riddles. I was never good at them. I think maybe part of my dyslexia that I have. Never really diagnosed with it, but I just never could really do a lot of things and kind of self-diagnose myself. When it comes to numbers, a lot of numbers, I have problems with flipping things around, and I'll say one thing and my wife will go, no, you meant this. And I'm like, yeah, I know what I meant. I literally know what I meant, but I said it wrong. So, but a lot of people are having this problem right now with this new logic test that only 36% of the population can solve. 30% of the people who actually took the test could solve, not the population, because you're including little babies in that. They're not going to solve anything. So here it is. Here is the latest test. Are you ready? Here it goes. Here are the rules. Essentially, there are three red hats, like you've seen in the Cat in the Hat from Dr. Seuss. And there is a black cat in each one, or on the hat itself, like a picture of a black cat in each hat, or on each hat, whatever you want to say. And then there's numbers 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to switch cameras here so you guys can see this as well as we're talking about it here on the air. And you can go over to YouTube and make sure you like and follow this video, and you can see it in real time as we're talking about it here on the air. So here we go. The rules are, one of the hats contains a cat. Only one of the statements below is true. So hat number 1, it says the cat is in this hat. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a chance to draw some hats on your piece of paper and then draw a little cat on each hat. And then here we go. The first hat says the cat is in this hat. Hat number 2, it says the cat is not in this hat. And then hat number 3 says the cat is not in hat 1. And you can see the photo above. Now I'm going to switch back to me, and we can all figure this out. So, what is the answer? So the question is, which hat actually contains the cat? Hat 1, hat 2, or hat 3? All of them, or not enough information? Have you figured it out? Take your time. We'll wait. No, I'm just kidding. I got more stuff to do here. First of all, the way they break this test down is, actually, let's go to this video, and probably has a little bit more how to solve this problem. So go to camera 4 so you can see it, and here we go.
Your decisions. I'm Presh Talwalkar. There are 3 hats, and each hat has an accompanying statement. Hat 1, the cat is in this hat. Hat 2, the cat is not in this hat. Hat 3, the cat is not in hat 1. Exactly one of the statements is true, and exactly one hat contains a cat. Which hat contains the cat? Is it hat 1, hat 2, hat 3, none of the hats, or there is not enough information? A survey for a similar problem found only 36% of people selected the correct answer. Pause the video if you'd like to give this problem a try.
So when it says 36%, I mean, it literally is 1 in 3. So if you take 100 people, I mean, that doesn't make any sense. You take 100 people, you have a 1 in 3 chance of figuring it out. So when they say only 36%, well, no shit. The odds are 1 in 3. So let's see what the answer is.
And when you're ready, keep watching to learn how to solve this problem.
All right.
Considering each case.
So here we go. Here's how to solve it.
We will solve the problem by logically considering each case. Suppose the cat is in hat 1. We will then evaluate each statement. Since the cat is in hat 1, the first statement will be true. Similarly, Since the cat is in hat 1, it will not be in hat 2, which means the statement for hat 2 will also be true. The statement on the third hat will not be true, it will be false. But now we have two statements that are true, and that contradicts the given information that exactly one of the statements is true. Therefore, we cannot have the cat in hat 1. This cannot be the correct answer. Let's now suppose the cat is in hat 3. We will evaluate each of the statements. The first statement will be false, the second statement will be true, but the third statement will also be true. Once again, we have two statements that are true, which means this cannot be the answer. We finally consider if the cat was in hat 2. In that case, the first statement will be false, the second statement will also be false, and the third statement, well, this statement will be true because the cat is not in hat 1. Therefore, we have exactly one statement that's true. This case is therefore the answer. The answer is B, the cat is in hat 2. And I think what confuses a lot of people is that hat 2 has a statement that the cat is not in that hat. However, when you work through the possibilities, this is the only logical case that works out. Did you figure it out?
No.
Thanks for making Mind Your Decision.
All right, so there you go. So they're saying that the statement underneath hat 2 is a misleading statement, saying that the cat is not underneath this hat, meaning the cat is underneath that hat, which is a false statement. So the cat is in hat number 2. Did you guys get that? Because after he explained it, these are why I hate these those quizzes or like puzzles and stuff. I just never did well on them. I can do well at other stuff, but not puzzles. All right, guys, stick around when we come back. Are you a glass child or know someone that is? I'll get into the definition of that and what that actually means. Stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. You want to follow us on all your social networks. The way you do that is go over to Prophet Radio, PROPHET radio.com, and show them some love and support. Big proud sponsor of the Deacon Live show. And get yourself some free stuff over there. Make sure you follow us on all your social networks and all our links to all our podcasts, all our different podcasts. Even the secret podcast will be over there shortly. So if you would like to find out where that other secret podcast is, where we talk about doing angel dust and all that crazy stuff, make sure you check them out over there at prophetradio.com. Now, we've been living here in North Carolina. I was born and raised in Orlando, Florida, lived there all my life. My wife as well. That's where I met her. And I had a very successful business down there for a long time. And I knew everything about like lawn care, everything like that. Went to UCF and, you know, did the whole Florida agricultural thing down there and did very well during the boom, the housing boom, which was from like 2004 to 2008. And then the bubble burst, and then all of a sudden no one wanted to spend any money on their landscape anymore. But I knew the plants and the technical parts of, you know, the soil levels and the pH levels and the architect and the landscape design layout is what we did over there. And no one wanted to spend any money to upgrade their outside front anymore. So moved up to North Carolina. My wife's job took her up to North Carolina. And when I get to North Carolina, I cannot figure out this soil up here. I'm at a loss. This clay soil. I mean, I know the basics of how to, you know, get the pH balance right in the soil, but Jesus Christ, you know, I'm used to the, you know, heavy duty St. Augustine down in Florida, that creeping grass. Up here, you've got to seed twice a year. You got to aerate. You've got to, I don't know. It's got me at a loss. Now, one of the things that I know, I was always told, like even in school, was if you want to put plants in a pot, make sure that pot has good drainage. And one of the things that we were taught was if you need good drainage in a pot, put a couple rocks and pebbles down there. That way, if that little hole at the bottom of the clay pot ever gets clogged, you're not going to drown your plants because the water can't escape. So for many years, even to this day, we were going around putting plants in the yard or annuals in all our pots because it's springtime now. We're past our cold spell here in North Carolina. And I was, you know, we were dumping the soil out and mixing it in with a compost and everything and then putting those the soil back in those pots. And at the bottom of some of those pots, we had rocks. And I put those rocks in there. Now, the only thing that I would worry about the rocks is because they're somewhat alkaline or alkaline, it might turn the pH balance a little different in the soil. See, I know what I'm talking about. Quizzes and puzzles, I can't do that. Soil stuff, I can figure that out. I know how to do it. But this woman right here actually opened my eyes on why not to put rocks in the bottom of the pots. So if you want to see this video, make sure for every podcast we do, we have a matching video. Make sure you like and subscribe over there. Make sure you're watching us here. Hi, here's me in the studio, and we're going to watch this video real quick on why not to put rocks in the bottom of your pots. Oops.
Bottom of your containers to improve drainage. I hope you didn't listen. Here's why. Water will not readily move from a fine textured medium like potting soil to a coarse textured medium like rock or gravel. Instead of moving all the way through the container, the water will stop at the level just above the rocks. The water will then begin to move laterally, completely filling all the micropores, resulting in a super saturated layer that will not move through those rocks until more water is added and gravity causes it to be pushed through that bottom layer. So instead, ditch the rocks and choose a container with adequate drainage. Choose the correct potting mix for whatever you're planting and let at least the first few inches of soil dry out between waterings.
So there you go. If you're thinking about doing your potted plants this year, I'm going to take note of that. My wife listens to the podcast. We usually sit down and listen to the podcast on Friday night, playing cards and stuff. So then she will hear this as well. And hopefully that'll give you guys some insight when you're doing your annual plants for springtime and stuff. I know there's a fuzzy side to the podcast here. Now, the dark side of a podcast, this podcast here, is, have you heard the term glass child? In a new TikTok trend, people are sharing their experiences of a glass child syndrome, where they felt invisible during their childhood. The term itself has been spoken in media before back in 2010 at Alicia Maples gave a TED Talk on her experience about being a glass child and having to grow up with a sibling that has autism. Did you get enough love, my little love? The audio lyric that plays many times throughout the video. Oh, anyway, so a glass child is a sibling of kids who have or had disabilities. So since the trend has begun to circulate on TikTok, there have been 57 million views on the TikTok hashtag glass child as an array of people who have opened up about their experiences. TikToker Blonde Ice Coffee described how as a 6-year-old she was with the 20th babysitter who was available. I don't understand this. She was with the 20th babysitter who was available and hardly knows your name. While her mom was gone all day long, with her brother to the hospital, and her dad sleeps all day because he spends their nights there. I don't know why. Oh, I guess she also added, "You wonder why your parents don't love you as much as your siblings," in a clip that was reviewed 1.5 million times. Although Casey has said that the benefits of being a glass child, along in her video, she wrote in the TikTok caption, "I may be a glass child, but I also got to meet the cast of The Wizard of Waverly Place for my sister's Make-A-Wish trip." So she's riding on her sister's coattails, who's got autism and stuff. But I mean, for a little bit more information, hold on. No. So for more information on what an actual glass child is and how you deal with it, let's make sure we're on the right camera here so we can all see it and we can all be friends. So here we go. This is Whitney Goodman talking about being a glass child.
Who was struggling in some way, maybe had chronic illness, or was just taking up a disproportionate amount of your parents' energy, you might be considered what is known as a glass child. This was a term coined by someone named Alicia Maples in a TED Talk that she gave. And glass children are not called glass children because they're so fragile. Glass children are the type of kids that are doing so well while another sibling is struggling, and you kind of just see right through them. What we know is that it can be really hard for parents to hear that while they're dealing with this really difficult thing with another child, that their child who seems to be doing well needs a lot of help. But the reality is that sometimes these kids are doing so well because they really have no other choice. in adulthood, these glass children might be the kind of people that are always busy. They're always able to handle everything. They seem like nothing is wrong, but really they might be struggling to share their needs.
So there you go. That's what a glass child is. Let me explain something to you. All right, people. All right. I understand, glass child, you've got a sibling that needs a little bit more attention. Needs autism, disability for whatever reason, can't walk, can't talk, can't do anything. I've seen kids that are like twisted around like friggin' bread ties in a wheelchair, drooling on themselves, and they have right next door, pushing that child is the older brother, older sister, or younger brother or younger sister pushing that child, and the parents focus all that attention on that twisted up child in the wheelchair. I understand that, but Jesus Christ, have some sympathy, sibling. I mean, understand that, hey, God has given you this great gift that you can do all this stuff. God is also, and I say God, you have received this great gift that you have the ability to walk around, jump, play, swing, and do all that stuff, while your other sibling is a little bit more challenging. The world is more challenging to that person. Understand that. Don't take it upon yourself. Well, what about me? What about me? Thumbs, look at me. I can do that too. I can do this. Look at me. Look what I can do. That type scenario. And parents need to focus. And I guess that relies on the parents to focus on both. Make sure that both children, or however many children you got, make sure everyone's getting an equal value. So don't take it on yourself. Now, I understand, growing up, you think the world's against you at all times. I've been through that. I'm sure you guys have in adolescent ages. You think you're the only one in this world that's going through this for the first time. And believe me, as you get older and older and older, yeah, you are the only one in the world going through this, because you are your own person. You have your own perception of reality as far as the world around you and your influences, which is your parents, your siblings, and everything that goes on. So make some friends, get out there, hit the ball around, play some hoops, learn how to dance, learn how to ride a bike, join the drama club. That's a great outlet if you're looking for someone for approval in a larger group of people. Drama club has always been a great outlet, at least for me. But be participant in like school activities, whether it be from on the elementary level all the way up through college and grad school. Be involved. Get some friends. Freaking loser. I'm kidding. But no, I mean, so it can go both ways. So glass child is just one of those terms that people slap on someone to, I don't want to say make an excuse, but they label that person. When you label that person a glass child, they go, oh, no one can see me. I must be this, and I must act this way. There's other ways around that. All right, guys, when we come back, one more segment to get into, and we're going to talk about getting my favorite sandwich, Subway, for a whole month. I can have one Subway foot-long sub at a very, very discounted price every day if I wanted to through the month of April. And I'll tell you how to get that here in just one sec. You're listening to Deacon Live on Prophet Radio. Stick around. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us on all your social networks. And the way you do that is go over to Prophet Radio, PROPHET radio.com, and click on social contacts, and you can see all the links that links us to you and you to us as well. We're on TikTok now. We're on Instagram. We've been on there for a while. You can follow us on Facebook, and every podcast has a matching video as well. You can see the extended version of every podcast over on the YouTube channel. Me clear my throat 15 times and all the things that happen in between breaks and stuff. So make sure you get a second avenue of absorbing the podcast by going over to YouTube as well. Make sure you become a subscriber over there. All the videos have got like hundreds of thousands of views on them, but it's like my subscription level is really low, which is weird. I don't understand that. That just doesn't match up, but we appreciate every view and every subscription that we get from you guys out there as well. And plus, you can see me waving to the mic, or waving to the mic. Plus, you can see me waving to the camera, and hopefully you guys are waving back at me. Hello. Now, growing up in the 90s, which I did, there was a company out there called Little Caesars, and Little Caesars had their famous slogan, which was, yes, and if you said it twice, you knew exactly what you were getting. You can walk anywhere in the United States and say pizza, pizza, and you go, okay, yeah, there you go, Little Caesars. Now, sometimes the pizza was good, but you knew exactly what you were getting, and they always had pretty okay pizza. I think, what did they call the style of pizza? I think it was not Chicago, because that's the deep dish. I think it was called Detroit style pizza or something crazy like that. I've never heard that before, or the Little Caesars being compared to a city type pizza. Oh, I guess, yeah, Chicago. Chicago is a city, duh. It's not a state there, dummy. But I've never heard of it being called like a Michigan style pizza. But all of a sudden, the pizza slogan went away. And you never heard it again, and it just disappeared. So what happened to that? Well, the long and the short is Little Caesars switched in 98. They switched to another advertising firm. And the advertising firm said, we'll focus on something else. We're not going to do the pizza anymore. We want to, upscale your product and stuff. Well, they lost. They lost a lot of money doing that. And in 2012, they resurrected the pizza tagline. Now, the reason why they brought it back is because Little Caesars is famous for having either the hot and ready grab and go, or they always had a special, 2 pizzas, $20, or 2 pizzas, or whatever it was, for just a god cheap amount of money. But it was good. As long as you wanted like one topping, you didn't want anything fancy on it, you knew exactly what you were getting. I lived off Little Caesars for a long time in my high school days. But now people are talking about what is he actually saying? And there's a thread on Reddit that says the Little Caesars guy is not saying pizza. He's saying piece of pizza. Just really fast, because it's not printed on any of the cardboard boxes anymore. It's not printed on anything like that. He's saying that people are hearing the word like a piece of pizza. And if you do it with Italian accent, piece of pizza. And they're just misinterpreting that, but they're bringing them, and those guys are idiots, by the way. Those guys over on Reddit are idiots. So they just announced in 2012, of course, they're bringing back the pizza, and they're still doing their hot and ready and stuff. So that's why they lost the pizza. They went with another advertising chain and then came back with something different. Now, something different that's out there right now is, what is this? Oh, here it is. I'm a big hot sauce connoisseur. I like a lot of hot sauce. There's one hot sauce I will not touch. Unfortunately, they are a sponsor somewhat of the show. They're where I get my magnets and stickers from. I will not touch their hot sauce. I'm sorry, Sticker Mule. Your hot sauce is garbage. It is garbage. I know you give me all the discounts on all the free swag and everything that we send out to our customers, but I don't want to tell it to Jerry's face and say, man, your hot sauce is garbage, but it is garbage. But there's some other ones that are out there. Like, if I'm a Louisiana fan, Louisiana hot sauce, it's the perfect drop. I mean, it says that right on the label. It's perfect. Goes across the board for everything like that. But if I can't find Louisiana, I will go with Frank's. I put that shit on everything. Well, Frank's right now is coming out with a hot sauce with a dill. The company says Frank's Red Hot is coming out with a dill pickle flavored, naturally flavored hot sauce is now available, but it can only be purchased here. So let's see where here is. Frank's Red Hot Dill Pickle can only be purchased on their website. Now, I like to put a hot sauce on my pizza, but I don't know if I put the dill pickle one on my pizza. Does it say how much it is? Where to buy? Sold out. Oh, look at that. So you get 2 bottles. It's a multi-pack of Frank's Red Hot Dill Pickle naturally flavored hot sauce 2-pack. They are sold out right now, but they are costing $6.49. That's not too well for 2 5-ounce bottles. Those are kind of small. But if you see it out there, I'd like to try it. If you want to send it to me, email me at deacon@profitradio.com. I'll send you my mailing address, and you can send me out a bottle if you want, or you can drop it off here at the French, or just tell me where to grab it here locally. I'd like to try it. Now, one of my favorite restaurants that I like to eat at, fast food wise, number one, Burger King. I hate eating there, but I love eating there. Two, used to be Sonny's Barbecue here in the Carolinas and Florida, but they've sold themselves out and they've changed all their rubs and all their dressings and stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is garbage. I'm not eating there anymore. I've had a bad experience for the last 3 years. So Sonny's Barbecue, sorry. I know it says Real Pit Barbecue, but I'm not going there anymore. I'd rather make my own at home. And another place I love to go to is Subway. We have one Subway in town, a population of 2,500 people in this little podunk neighborhood that we live in. And Subway right now is offering Americans to get 1 foot long every day for $15. Now, hold on. There are 250,000 passes up for grabs. The deal works like this. For just $15, sandwich lovers will be able to grab a foot-long sub for 50% off its original price for 30 days in a row. So Subway first introduced the sandwich subscription back in August of 2022 as a perk for Subway My Way Rewards members. The sandwich giant sold about 10,000 passes altogether in less than 6 hours. This time, the foot-long pass is back with 250,000 passes up for grabs at the My Way Rewards members. Or if you're a Subway My Way Rewards member. Customers can purchase the pass at subwayfootlongpass.com starting now, all the way till March 23rd, 2023. For those who score, they can redeem it once per day throughout the whole entire month of April. You get 50% off your sub, I guess one sub at a time. To grab this pass, you must be part of the My Way Rewards member, a legal resident of the 50 U.S. states, and at least 18 years old. You must register and pay $15 and plus tax as well. So if you eat Subway all the time and you want to do the whole Jared thing, not the illegal stuff that Jared was doing, but if you want to do the stuff where he walked to Subway every day to lose all that weight and ate a 6-inch sub, you could do that. Try a 30-day thing for $15 and get 15% off. I hate when you have to pay to get a discount. Isn't that stupid? Oh, you want a discount on something? That'll be $15 for the 50% off discount. Why can't you just give the 50% off discount and then just be done with it? I don't know. I hate to pay for a discount. It doesn't make any sense. But some people are going to do it. I won't do it. I don't eat Subway that much. It's too far to go. It's like 10 miles one direction to go get Subway. By the time I get home, the oil and bread's all soggy, wet and stuff. Now, my wife did go get it the other day and got smart. They had the oil and vinegar, red wine vinegar packets off to the side. And she's like put the mayo, mustard, and all that stuff on it, but don't put the vinegar and oil on it. I'll wait till I get home and add that on. So she did that for me the other day. It was very nice of her to do, and I thank her as I'm waving to her. Hi. Now, something that this woman thought was being nice by doing is writing a message on a cake for a young lady who ordered a cake from a bakery. A bakery employee shared this tale about a cake mix-up that must have been the most embarrassing day for this customer has ever had. At least this worker has never let it leave her memory because it's just so funny. So here's what happened. The birthday parties are definitely one of the most fun parts of a childhood. Unless you're a glass child and then you get left on the wayside. Whether you are blowing out your candles or visiting someone else's house to give them gifts, in all the commotion of the parties, do kids really care or notice their birthday cakes? I don't think so, but this one woman was really convinced that her toddler was going to be absolutely devastated when he saw his birthday cake. As the OP shared, the woman began to complain about this bakery. She insisted about this cake. It seems that she was really wound up to the full scale Karen to a full-scale Karen meltdown. However, the OP manager, to stop this perturbed parent in her tracks by shouting common sense questions at her. She'll never live this down. So here we go. What happened was the baker, let's see. So here's how the story goes. In college, I worked for a floral shop that shared a space with a bakery. We had a space for both businesses to operate, and it was naturally a good partnership. This story takes place at the near end of my senior year. This is the woman who actually wrote on the cake. I was 6 weeks shy of graduating with 2 degrees. Although I cared about the stores and wanted them to do well, my no-nonsense tolerance had dropped significantly. Yeah, work retail. You learn that real quick. One day, a woman came to me for some balloons and her son's second birthday party. She had recently picked up her cake. The woman says, "I can't believe this bakery." Oh, and the woman said, "Oh, I'm sorry. Is there something wrong?" The woman said, "Yes, look at this cake." She opens up the cake. Wow, that's a nice looking cake decorated with icing and trains and scrolling script that says, "Happy second birthday, Jackson." And the woman was like going, "Don't you see it?" And I said to her, this is the woman telling the story, "Yes, it looks like a lovely cake." The woman screamed at me and said, "It's in cursive. Why the fuck would they put cursive on a cake? He's 2 years old." Oh, well, it might take me a couple minutes to fill these balloons. I bet you could take it back and they could scrape off the old lettering and refrost the blank space and rewrite it for you. The woman says, "I can't believe someone would be so stupid and think that this is okay to write in cursive on a 2-year-old's cake." So you could see what she's complaining about. First of all, the kid is 2 years old. He can't even read. He can barely wipe his ass. If he can wipe his ass and read, then be upset about the cursive part of the cake. Second of all, cursive on a cake is nice. It's fine. That's a lost art form that we do or don't do here as even adults growing up. I can't remember the last time I wrote in cursive, but when I write in cursive, it just looks like me writing script with all the letters connected together. That's all it is. And if this woman cannot understand or how to read cursive, then she shouldn't have a child. Let's do it that way. You can't read cursive, you can't have a child. That's the new law. I'm going to put it in effect right now. But who cares? The child is 2. The child just wants to slam his face in the middle of that cake and just go, rah, 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 rah. You've seen 2-year-old birthday parties. Kid's got his freaking hands in the cake, smushing it between his fingers, and you pray to God that there's another backup cake for everyone else in the house to eat on. But she freaked out because it said 2 years old, "Happy birthday, 2-year-old," in cursive. Now, if you look at the way happy birthday is written, I mean, regular block lettering is not going to be, the kid can't, even if the kid could read at 2 years old, you put block lettering up there, he's not going to be able to read it, because anytime you see what they interpretate a way a child of 2-year-old writes, usually the letters are backwards. You've seen like cartoons and stuff, like the S is backwards, or something's upside down, or something stupid because they can't figure it out because they've got dyslexia like me, and they write things all. And so this woman said, she was pissed off that the woman, the cake place next door of the balloon shop, wrote her kid's happy birthday cake, wrote cursive on the happy birthday cake. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're upset about now. That's the life and the actions that are being lived and that we're dealing with. So I hope you guys can steer around those people. And if you see those people, just run them down. Just mow them right over. Just walk right through them. Say, "I'm not dealing with you. You're an idiot." And then go on about your day and don't let it affect you. All right, guys, on that note, I'm going to let you get back to enjoying what you got to do. Make sure you go over to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio. Follow us on our social networks. Make sure you like, subscribe, and do all the links that links us to you. Get yourself something for free over there. And make sure we'd love to hear from you as well. And if you do that by clicking on the Be Heard section over at Prophet Radio. And if you want to send me any pictures or anything, you can do that as well. There's a little section there you can fill out. You can upload a photo, and we'll show it on the very next podcast as well. All right, guys. On that note, my name is the Deacon, saying good night and good night.
Oh, no. Wait. Come back.
Woohoo!
This is the end. The absolute end.
Écoute-moi.
There we go.